Welcome back, America. We're here with my old buddy Chip Roy. It's been a while, Mr. Roy, and we've missed you very, very much. You're running hard. Tell everybody, by the way, what you're running for, why you're running for it in Texas. Give out your information so we can get that out there, and I want to jump into some of these issues with you.
Sounds great. Thanks, Mark. Great to be on the show as always. Miss you.
You too.
Look, I'm, obviously I've been blessed to be in Congress, fourth term. I'm 7 years in. I got another year. But, look, there's got to
Hold on, sounds like prison.
Yeah, well, you know what? True. But I'm actually proud, and I think you and I have talked about this, about how much we've moved the needle, landing the plane, fighting for conservative things, but then trying to figure out how to get things done, like during the speaker's battle and during all of the things we've done that we're now delivering for the president. And, not everything you and I would want. We got to do more, but we're getting there. So, look, my kids are in 9th grade and 10th grade. If I run for Congress one more time, they're off to college. I want to be home in Texas. That's personal. My wife's been carrying the load. But number two, and more importantly for the country and for the state of Texas, the state of Texas is under attack. Mm-hmm. And it is under attack by a comprehensive network of radical Marxists and Islamists that are trying to take away Texas from us and from America. And it's real and it's open, and you know it and I know it. And it's the open border crowd. It's the Soros-funded DAs putting criminals on the streets. And it's the radical Islamification of Texas with Epic City and this Houston, Islamic Center. And
150,000 square feet. This Islamic Center in Houston. It's massive.
Yeah, and this is direct, it's purposeful. And you know it, and I know it. And frankly, the leadership of Texas knows it. And so, with all respect, we need someone here who's willing to stand up and shout from the rooftops to the entire state of Texas and the world that that's not going to happen. That this nation is founded on Judeo-Christian principles, the Constitution, Western civilization, Sharia law is in direct conflict with both of them. And we've got to stand up and fight it. And then, there's a lot of other issues at play. But at the end of the day, Texas just needs strong leadership right now, because if we lose Texas, we lose the country. And I'm a former federal prosecutor, former first assistant AG. I've been on the House Judiciary Committee. I've been a lawyer on the Senate Judiciary Committee. You know me, I'm steeped in the law, not as much as you, but, I bring a pretty good wealth of experience, and I think it's time, and God's got me here at the right time and right place.
And you're a fantastic human being. You're a buddy of mine. You were chief of staff for quite a while to Ted Cruz. You supported him early on, too, and our families are very close. And you're running for Attorney General of Texas. So if people in Texas or in the country want to help you, where do they go?
Thanks, Mark. ChipRoy.com, ChipRoy.com. And then on Twitter and X, it's ChipRoyTX. And look, I wouldn't be in Congress without your support. I certainly won't be able to do this without the support of your many listeners and all the great patriots out there. And look, we're up in the polls. We're doing great. We're raising money, but we got to keep our foot on the gas and finish this and win the primary, get it done in March, and then get busy finishing my time in Congress and then building the plans to have a really aggressive Attorney General's office.
And I strongly, strongly endorse Chip Roy. Now, Chip, who are you running against?
I'm running against three people, 2 state senators, and then another guy who's never held elected office. Look, they all have their pros and cons, but here's what I would tell you. My litmus test is this. I think it needs to be somebody who's held elected office. That rules out one of them. I think it needs to be somebody who's actually been in a courtroom, stood in front of a judge and represented the state and been in battle in the court. And that rules out 1 or 2 of my other competitors. And then the third is you need somebody who's got a stellar conservative record. And if you look at my scores down, up and down, this, like A+, 195s from every organization, it's relatively unassailable. So you need a proven conservative who's been in court and who's held elected office. That's me, and it's not my competitors. That's Mays Middleton, Joan Huffman, and Aaron Reitz, none of whom I think bring what I bring to the office of the Attorney General.
No offense. Of course, I'm not in Texas, none of whom I've ever heard of before. Now, Chip Roy.
Right.
Look what the Democrats do. They blow up Obamacare, which was never going to work, the so-called Affordable Care Act. Then they want hundreds of billions of dollars in subsidies, and they want it now. They don't just want to vote on health care. They say they want an outcome on that vote. So they blackmail the Republicans. They blackmail the president in the course of a continuing resolution. And so their Obamacare doesn't work. And now you got, Stalinists like Bernie Sanders out there saying, look at all the people who are not going to have health care. Didn't Bernie Sanders and Obama and the Democrats do this?
Well, Mark is exactly right. It's all purposeful. And I think here's what's fascinating about what we're experiencing. And I hope this is actually a great blessing. Okay. The Democrats are fully giving up the deal. They're giving up the gig. They're outing themselves. They come out and say, we need these COVID, subsidies that Biden did that were extra and that were supposed to be temporary, that no Republican voted for. We need these in order for Obamacare to, quote unquote, work. I mean, even the Washington Post said the, quote, Affordable Care Act has never been affordable. And the fact is that the gig is up and everybody sees it. And now the Democrats, who used a political shutdown to try to pick a fight on health care because they didn't have a fight. They needed something to be able to run on. And I think they started to see they're losing it. And they're losing it because President Trump was wise and willing to say, no, I'm not going to play your game. I'm not going to let you hold not just the government hostage, but continue to hold the American people hostage to a broken healthcare system. And he 2 days ago tweeted out, I think very wisely, guys, if you're going to subsidize something, we'll take a subsidy and we'll make sure the American people can use health savings accounts. Now, you and I don't love subsidies at all. But if you're going to choose something, let's make it about the people being able to go in the marketplace and have tax advantage plans and health savings accounts and so forth, not enriching the insurance companies, which is what Democrats are doing. And that's the right fight because we're winning it.
What do you make of this Mamdani in New York? I haven't heard your views on this yet.
Well, look, I think Mamdani is...
Something tells me you're not a supporter.
Yeah. I mean... Good grief, Mark. I mean, what we're seeing right now
Crazy.
In terms of this, Islamification, like people say, well, he's the canary in the coal mine. No, he's not. The canary in the coal mine was years ago. Things like the Holy Land Foundation in Dallas. What we've been seeing in London and in Paris and watching churches and synagogues burning, what we've seen obviously with Hamas on October 7th, but going back decades. And in this country, Dearborn, Michigan, Minnesota, that, Ilhan Omar gets elected, right? People go, oh, we should kick her out of Congress. Well, okay, great. Let's kick her out of Congress. Guess what? Those same 750,000 Americans are going to elect another radical because we've allowed that to infest our communities and our homes in the false name of the First Amendment. Because we've been allowing people to come here who don't believe in our system, who don't believe in Western civilization or the Constitution. They believe in advancing, promoting, and frankly, a takeover with Sharia law. Mamdani has basically said it. His dad was justifying suicide bombers. Mamdani's been hanging out with imams who say all sorts of radical things, praise October 7th, pal around with CARE. And by the way, I introduced legislation last week to take away the C3 status from CARE. And thank you for your tweet of that because it's just absurd. Why are we giving a tax break to an organization
don't hang up.
No, with terrorism?
That was great. That was very, very important because they are the enemy. We're going to be back with Chip Roy's running for Attorney General in Texas, has my full support. All you Levinites, I'd like you to get behind him. It doesn't get any better than Chip. We'll be right back. We're coming upon the 250th birthday of the United States, and it has me thinking, what will America look like 250 years from now? My friends at the Heritage Foundation want to know what you think. What policies should America prioritize? What principles should carry us into the decades ahead? As America enters a new golden age, Heritage recognizes that this is the time to take stock and to be intentional about how we shape the future of America. And they can't do it without your input. So please go to heritage.org/LEVIN and let them know what you think is important. Without patriots like you stepping up and speaking up for what you believe in, America as we know it can't survive for another 250 years. Please go to heritage.org/Levin, heritage.org/LEVIN. Take the survey on America's future. This survey takes less than 10 minutes to complete, but it is critical for making sure that the America we pass on to future generations is an America we're proud of. Go to heritage.org/Levin today. That's heritage.org/LEVIN. Paid for by the Heritage Foundation. Back with our friend Chip Roy. Chip Roy, I want to circle back a little bit. This movement of a mass population in the building of cities out of nowhere of Islamists is obviously strategic to try and and take down Texas so we can never win an election again. How are Texans dealing with this, particularly those in government?
Well, I think what you're seeing is some people are now waking up a little late, but they're waking up to the reality. Again, I mentioned earlier the Holy Land Foundation. Mm-hmm. Well, that was, I'm pulling this from memory, Mark, but I think that was like 2001 or 2. It goes back like 2 decades.
Why do I think that was 1993? I could be dead wrong, though.
Whatever it was a long time ago. And that was, a huge Muslim charity, right? And, the feds shut them down and went after them because they were literally funneling money to terrorists, and specifically Hamas. And we've got now a wide-ranging network of these organizations.
By the way, you're right. You're right. 2020, 2021. Go ahead.
Okay, good. So if I go back and say, okay, take a step back from what I was saying before, it's not just the Islamist issue, although to me that's the number one. If you go look at the entire network of this Marxist Islamist, movement, you got the group that is the Soros-funded, outfit. You've got all the Democratic operatives up there that are running all this stuff. You've got 250 groups that were funneling people in through the open borders. You've got this Islamification subset. You've got the Southern Poverty Law Center. You've got Antifa. And Arabella, right, is that group of the Democrat operatives. All of them are all in a network. And they're shuffling around billions of dollars, foreign money, government grant money, our own tax money. And if you were to plot this out in the grand, conspiracy that we got going on, there's no question that there's RICO activity, that there's, terrorism involved with it. If you look at the funding and connect all the dots, the Democrats, though, and the liberals and the Marxists that are involved in all these organizations, they've been laundering all this crap for years. And we've just been sitting around going, free speech and the First Amendment. Like, you and I are constitutionalists, and we'll die on the Hill to protect free speech and the First Amendment. But it doesn't mean you can allow people to have literally these organizations designed and built to take out our country from within, right? And that's what's happening. And we're going to have to recognize it. And that's one of the reasons I'm running for AG is we've got to take them on.
And that's the thing is AG. Here's the thing. Let me give you an example. Our residence is mostly in Florida here. Mine permanently. I don't have to wake up every day in this state, Chip Roy, and look over my shoulder and wonder what Ron DeSantis is doing and worry about it. I know he's going to do the right thing. He has the right instinct. He's a principled conservative. He's demonstrated that time and time again. I would view you the same way in Texas. I wouldn't have to wake up, look over my shoulder. What is the Attorney General doing? The Attorney General will be under you, like DeSantis here as governor, 10 steps ahead. Okay, what am I going to do about this? How do I fight this? And so forth and so on. That is the kind of proactive conservatism that we need. Are we seeing more of that, less of that, or none of that?
Well, I think the president is doing a good job of leaning into the important fights of the day in a way that I've never seen anybody do, right? And you were, God bless you, you were early on recognizing that and promoting it. And, I don't think we've got nearly enough of looking around the bend, but I'll say it's getting better. Let me give you an example. Totally different issue than dealing with the Islamification Marxist issue, although it's all related. But last year when we were setting up the big, beautiful bill, well, a year ago, Russ Vought, my good friend over at OMB, friends of mine in the Freedom Caucus and the administration, we all got together, a group of us, we said, all right, how are we going to get this done? And we laid out a plan for doing it. The $150 billion for defense money, the $150 billion for border money. So we knew we could preempt their shutdown. We thought a year ahead, we knew they were going to shut it down. So you got to look around the curve, and then you got to prepare for it. And then we laid the groundwork, and we got the Freedom Caucus to say, look, we normally don't support debt ceiling increases. We normally don't support another pot of money for defense, in an appropriation in a reconciliation bill. But we did it anyway because we trusted the president, we trusted Russ, we trusted Hegseth, and we trust the Tom Homan and the DHS folks to secure the border, and they are. And guess what? Then we could tell the Democrats to pound sand right now. And that's what we just did. That's what leadership is. You got to look ahead. You got to figure out how to get there. You got to build a team and to build a coalition and then go do it. And that's what I think we're seeing better now. But, man, we got a lot of catch up to do because the leftists have been ahead of us for decades.
Do you feel we're going to be able to hold on to Texas for the next quarter century or half a century?
only if we fight right now, and recognize that you've got to actually admit there's a war to win it. And unfortunately, too many people in the state don't recognize that our way of life is under full assault and attack. And we've got to get busy protecting it. Too many non-Texans own Texas land and Texas houses and Texas ranches and Texas beef and Texas meat packing facilities and our businesses and our small businesses. And we got in our universities, frankly, we need Texans to own Texas and promote Texas values. And if we do that and we reclaim it, then we'll be fine. The spirit here is good, but there are a lot of people here who have been shipped in for either cheap labor or for, frankly, high-tech labor, frankly, open borders, and frankly, a lot of hiding behind, oh, isn't it great? We're going to have all these people. They're going to come over here, and they're going to with our universities, and we're going to do these deals with the Middle East. And like, hold on a second, who are you bringing here, and why? And I think people are taking a long, hard look at that now and waking up to it.
I think you're right. So if people want to help you again, and we're going to have it on all our social sites, where do they go, Chip Roy?
ChipRoy.com, ChipRoy.com. Would love to have a famous old Levin surge. Love to have any support. It's great. It's needed. We're doing well, but we got to get the word out.
When is this? When is this election?
So March 2nd. We're a very early primary. So early voting starts February, I think, 17th or 18th, and so we're 3 months out from early voting.
All right, you're going to let me know when the voting starts, and you'll come on, and we will do a big Levin surge. We're going to push you over the finish line. Not that you need it, but we want to make sure it happens.
Yeah, well, we want to win. We don't want to have a runoff. We want to win on March 2nd. And look, I've got a real job. I've got a day job in Congress, so I'm going to be doing a lot of this virtually because we're 2-vote, 3-vote majority. I got to be in D.C. I can't not do my job. So we're beating the pavement now. We're traveling all over the state. We're going back to D.C. tomorrow, obviously, and next week. And so we'll keep at it. And Billy, good brother, you're doing all that you can do to save this country, both as a lawyer and as a spokesman. And I'm deeply appreciative of you and your family.
You're a good man. Likewise, brother. All right, we'll be back. You'll circle back, and we'll get you back, and we will do a massive Levin surge. Chip Roy, that's who I endorse strongly. How long have I known you now?
Well, we've known each other for almost 20 years. About 17 years ago, I reached out to you for advice when I was doing some work with Governor Perry. You remember?
That's right.
And and then we built a friendship from there, and our great, your family, and then Mr. Producer and everybody. So it's just a great team.
All right, man. Be safe out there. It's tough. Be careful. God bless you.
God bless you, sir. See you soon.
All right, you too. Just a good guy. Just a good guy.